The guest of honor, Mr. Jan Kunik, who will deliver the convocation address, will be introduced by Dr. Trevor Mendes, Head Academic Affairs of the Postgraduate Institute of Management.
Good evening. Our guest of honor for this evening is Mr. Jan Kunik, who is the current Executive Vice President and Director Marketing and Sales and Innovation at Siam City Cement Limited. He is also part of the Thailand-based Corporate Sales and Marketing Excellence Circle and a member of its Digital Council. Siam City Cement is the fastest growing cement and construction materials company in Asia, with sales close to $2 billion with over 6,000 employees. The company manufactures cement, concrete, innovative wood replacement products, decorative cellulose-based elements, tiles, pipes, blocks, and many more construction materials, and has assets in India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Myanmar. Siam City Cement is the current market leader in Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Vietnam. Mr. Kunik is also an independent advisor to several European, US, and Singapore-based institutional investment companies. Prior to joining Siam City Cement, he has served in various top management and senior management positions in companies such as Holcim India, where he served as the commercial director, and PT Holcim Indonesia, where he worked in several management functions for Swiss-based Holcim Limited. He has also served as the head of strategy and business development in Asia Pacific region since 2011 and was responsible for strategy and asset footprint development, including large capex projects and acquisitions. Before joining the Holcim Group, he worked for a leading consultancy in the field of strategy development, marketing and pricing, and for a large energy producer. He has wealth of working experience in over 30 countries in South Asia, Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America. Mr. Kunik holds a master's degree in business administration from Western Illinois University in US and a diploma in European business studies of Bamberg University in Germany, concluding as Diplom Kaufmann. He continuously focuses on executive education to stay up to date and has participated in programs at Harvard University, Boston, Chicago Graduate School of Business, and at IMD, Lausanne, Switzerland. With that introduction, I now cordially invite Mr. Jan Kunik to address this esteemed gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to Mr. Jan Kunik. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Ayo Venerable Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Director of the Postgraduate Institute of Management, members of the PIM Board of Management and Board of Study, distinguished academics, graduates, proud family members, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be invited at this very distinguished gathering, assembled to celebrate the graduation of an outstanding group of more than 450 talented individuals from PMM programs with its MBA, MPA, PhDs. From my introduction, you've heard I'm European, last 15 plus years, majority in Asia, whether it's India, Indonesia, but also a lot in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, actually, I've been the first time 2008, 2009, and 10 much more. And I was always impressed by Sri Lanka, especially by its people. And already at that time, I've worked with some PIM graduates together. Excellent calibers very, very good young professionals you have in Sri Lanka, and for sure also excellent businessmen which spread the pride of Sri Lanka and also the PIM globally. So it's a true privilege for me to celebrate today with you. Professor Damasiri has encouraged me to speak on the theme of the convocation, Unleashing the Power to Lead. A great theme. It's very much aligned with PIM's mission of producing leaders of a global presence, but having also the local pulse. I must assume that all the graduates are current or future leaders who will shape the socio-economic landscape of the nation. It is important. Regardless of the current troubles, we need to look forward. I know for sure it's not an easy task to earn a postgraduate degree or a diploma, especially one from an institution like PIM that's dedicated to excellence. So up front already, my heartiest congratulations to all of you. Very well done, aside of your normal jobs, partially extraordinary achievement. Well done. Successful careers means not only upward mobility or a house in the suburbs. It means much more. It's a chance to work with people who are optimistic, energetic, charismatic, and successful, like you are, and like you will be. The chance, in other words, to be part of a company of yours, if I translate it into a corporate context. I believe the greatest truth is, before to lead others, it is foremost important to lead yourself. Envisioning a better future, setting worthy and self-reflected but challenging goals, and following through with a sustainable impact first and foremost, that requires leading yourself. And it's not easy. Often, leadership can be a lonely road, regardless of how many people are in the team. To keep ourselves inspired and motivated and energized, we need to lead ourselves with our heart, but also with a very clear purpose and full devotion. Successful organizations need leaders who know themselves first, have an inner compass that points them into the right direction. Many leaders never take the time to do so, to reflect. I strongly advise you to schedule it into your busy agendas, self-reflection time. Time to think about what do you want to do, where do you want to have an impact, why you want to do it, and how you will do it. Good leadership isn't something that just happens. It requires many competencies, such as decisiveness, motivation, the ability to lead by example, walking the talk. It might seem easy to set the right example for employees and be a source of inspiration for them. But putting it into practice is a challenge, and it's something you will need to master in your lifetime. It's about gaining trust on a daily basis, gaining respect, motivating and managing employees in good time and in challenging times. A team that's being led by a co-leader will very likely experience conflicts and will not perform. In contrast, you need to, it's said that some managers do things right and leaders do the right things. So the best solution, and all of you need to manage that paradigm, you need to solve that between managing and leading. But in the end, you need to do both. When it's done the right way, it's a perfect leadership and the company will really flourish. The people, employees, are engaged, motivated, and follow a vision. When it's done the wrong way, we call it a disaster. It falls to that person in charge to give people a reason to believe, a purpose, also into the person's talents, and the ability to get people to work together. Few people in high places get there without being knocked down or knocked over a few times. That's normal in life. What's important is, how do you raise to your feet? If you do it by acknowledging your shortcomings, and then set about remedying it through further education, training, experience, you demonstrate that you've got resilience. Employees deserve leaders who know how to bend, but not to break. Such leaders handle the issues that make everyone else weak in the knees, whether it's a fierce new competitor, a pending merger, a conflict in the workplace. They need to know that the leader has the heart to embrace the challenge and the guts not to break down in the face of adversity. I'm sure you've heard the VUCA environment throughout your studies. They also need to know that the leader has brain enough to back off from the impossible, so as not to break an organization. Civil leaders pick their moments carefully. Tough leaders preserve them. Command is granted. Leadership is earned. That's an adage that governs the military, for example. People are put into positions of authority, but it's up to the individual to earn the respect and the trust of his followers. When followers see the leaders doing what is right for the team, that is, supporting, developing, nurturing, and defending in good and bad times, then they'll gain trust. The same trust-building revenue applies to individuals. Managers who put the interests of the people first by finding ways to help them grow, develop, and take on more responsibilities cease to be mere managers. They are leaders of women and men who have earned their rank by giving their people a reason to believe. Leadership only succeeds when it shows others how to extend and push for greatness. Your team should look at you and think, if he can do, I can do too. True leaders do not whip the team into shape from the back of the pack. They lead the charge, while carrying also their share of the weight. If your leadership model says failure is not an option, you may be setting off yourself for exactly more failure, or a culture of disappointment and fear. Failure is a very vital process of invention, innovation, and risk-taking. It is critical to have it in an organization. If you want to have a truly extraordinary team, celebrate failure and even encourage it in a controlled, experimental environment. Good leadership takes strength of character and a very firm commitment to do the right thing, at the right time, for the right reason. This means doing what you say and when you say. If your team cannot trust you, you will probably never lead them to greatness. Setting an example isn't just about finding ways to motivate employees in the short term, it can also inspire them in more lasting ways. Inspirational leadership generates enthusiasm, passion for the organization's mission by helping employees to align their personal values with company initiatives. And an inspired team is very much more likely to meet its goals or overachieve them, demonstrate higher levels of engagement, and produce higher quality work. The manifestation of an imagination that is set on fire is creativity. And the hallmark of creativity include out-of-the-box thinking, asking why not instead of why, taking risks, persistence, and when you know you're on the right path. And the outcome of creativity is innovation, resulting in products, processes, systems, and in general solutions to critical problems that benefit not only the architect of the innovation, but society at large. You can be very proud about the creativity you have in Sri Lanka, and which you actually got by your ancestors as well. If I just look today, many visitors go to Sigiriya or other ancient sites and cities in Sri Lanka. So already many decades ago, people thought about how do I lead and what legacy do I give. And it has become the main reason now for tourists to look at them, right? So it's a very long-lasting legacy. If you look at Sri Lanka's tea industry, the backbone of the country's export sector, was started by a creative Scotsman, James Taylor. This creativity is still there 150 years later. If I look at individuals like Mario Fernando, stemmed from equating fine tea with fine wine, and understanding the trade-off between quality and quantity. And if I look at today's single estate teas from Dilma, you will find them in the first-class sectors of any hotel or plane. It's a hallmark, and it stands for Sri Lanka's excellence and legacy building. If I just look at a couple of more examples, Nelson Mandela in 2003, education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. I fully agree. But if we look in the Sri Lankan context, much earlier, 1944, Free Education Act, Dr. Kanangara understood the value of educating this, and it was so much earlier to Mandela's speech, over 6 years earlier, so that everyone has access to education. It's established with beliefs, with a vision, with a commitment to change and transforming for the benefit of society. So Sri Lanka's economy converted to the open economy in the 70s. I think all of you know, the period of economic stagnation then stopped. If we look at the Valley Development Program, it was planned for 20 years execution. Sri Lanka did it in 6 years, and the world looked at Sri Lanka. An immense transformation of the economy with all of the instruments from the Valley Authority, all the canals, countryside changed, agriculture took place in areas where never agriculture happened before. So it's an amazing change if we think right, innovative for the society, will bring it to prosperity. We can think of many international examples of creativity that have a global impact. I'll just give one example. Nobel laureate Professor Yunus from Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. I'm sure some of you have heard of the microfinancing approach. It went from Bangladesh around the world. It was implemented in many other countries, and it shared wealth, it developed entrepreneurs, and with that also it dispersed wealth much more equal. Professor Yunus teaches us local solutions to bring it to the global knowledge, and the global solutions can also come back to Sri Lanka to fight society problems. These developments were initiated by people, I would call them leaders, with a very clear vision, wanting to create a legacy, and leaders who were always very humble and had highest integrity. There are two values which for me stand very much for the most successful leaders: humbleness and integrity. There are plenty of problems that call for the application of your creative skills, using the knowledge that you have gained here at PIM. I usually don't see them as a problem. Whenever there's a problem, it creates opportunities. Opportunities all of you are able to take forward, to take to your advantage and to society's gains. For all its many benefits, also globalization poses many challenges, including more frequent and more pervasive economic crisis and a dramatic increase in risk exposure. So does technology. A good friend on the one hand side, all of you have now smartphones and you're happy, but also a bad enemy, magically solving important business problems on one hand, but disrupting entire economic segments. Able to create flash sales with the algorithm behind, changing the job scale and which jobs will be in demand in the next 5 years or 10 years. So the free market model has helped to accelerate global economic growth, but it's also created some glaring disparity in income and wealth between rich and poor, including in countries which are just next door, whether it's India or China. So it's part of US leaders also that this disparity is being reduced. Even if I look at the global economic crisis, 2008-9, the financial crisis, right now we have the next crisis, whether it's in Sri Lanka, we'll see what's happening here, or in Great Britain, with the Brexit and the European Union. So the uncertainty in this VUCA environment is increasing. Something where you as leaders, your flexibility, your adaptability, and your creativity is asked for to develop the right solutions at the right moment in time and to bring your teams along that we have more stability and that you created for them, Sri Lanka, and for your country. Definitely Sri Lanka has some exposures to these issues and some local problems, but with the right creativity and the right innovation, you will lead it to success. Managers are very often also called upon to address other important issues. I will just mention two, because you as leaders, and in that, the humbleness and the integrity, they are two very important things that you as leaders must do. Corporate social responsibility is getting more and more important, and corporate governance. If I look at Nobel laureate Professor Milton Friedman, he was quoted only at the tagline, "The social responsibility of a business is to increase its profits." Well, it was only the tagline. The article was much longer, and actually only the small statement was taken out of context. Overall, what he actually said was, in a free enterprise, private property system, a corporate executive has direct responsibility to conduct the firm's business in accordance with the desire of shareholders, which generally will be to make as much money as possible, while conforming to the basic rules of the society, both those embodied in law and those embodied in ethical customs. I think it's something you as future leaders of this country take that forward. What I can tell you based on my own research is that society in general and investors amply reward companies that run their business safely, ethically, and with minimal societal and environmental impact. In other words, corporate social responsibility, practiced correctly, is very much consistent with the shareholders' interest and not in conflict with it. The oversight of companies occurs first and foremost through the representatives of the shareholders, usually the board of directors, or through large investors and market intermediaries. Corporate oversight occurs especially with government agencies, laws and regulations. Corporate finance research also very much shows that corporate social responsibility is rewarded also on the share price. Some of you are graduating with the Master of Public Administration. So what's the appropriate economic role of the government in all of this? Clearly, the government needs to maintain law and order, ensure a safe and stable environment, a prospering and nurturing environment as well, in which you as leaders can operate in your business. The government also needs to provide infrastructure that private companies are able, or it needs to incentivize. And the government needs to develop the laws and regulations to govern the society, and that these laws and regulations are enforced. So government, and with you, from the public or Master of Public Administration, the government has a vital and integral role and responsibility to partner with business in developing the country and the economy forward for all of our joint success going forward. But we don't have to wait for the government to always lead the way or to show us which path to go. If I quote President John F. Kennedy from his presidential address in January 1961, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Then you will be much closer to leadership in all your actions and activities and decisions. So I'd like to conclude by offering my heartfelt congratulations again to all of your accomplishments, especially the well-earned recognition you have received today. You're ending one journey today, and you're beginning another. Drawing again from the theme of this convocation, I hope you will use your imagination, your creativity, your humbleness and self-reflection, your innovation, an active listening skill from shop floor to the top, your visionary and entrepreneurial thinking to build new pathways that others may follow. That's the legacy you're able to build as leaders. That's the desire you may have already, or which you will have developed soon, and some have started with. With PIM, you've got all the thinking in your hands by now. You're ready to excel, and you're ready to launch. Do that. And with that, I wish you the very best for your future in developing your legacies. So all the best. Thank you.